Hello and welcome to another Maintenance Right on Schedule tutorial. My name is David, and today we're going to go over the basics of our incredibly powerful Schedule Builder tool. Maintenance tasks on boats have a wide range of requirements for when they should be scheduled, and the tool we've built can handle them all. We use the Schedule Builder tool in quite a few different areas of our website, including when you want to create or edit a task. For this run through, I'm going to show you how to use the tool to create a maintenance schedule for a new piece of equipment. That will allow us to see its full functionality, but the knowledge you get in this video can also be used to create or edit a task. Let's jump on in. In order to focus on our schedule builder, I'm starting out here in the middle of our add equipment flow. We'll be creating an official maintenance schedule for a piece of equipment that I've made up called the Alton Marine AEA 123, so there's no link to an owner's manual. Now, some of the tasks for this piece of equipment will be done based on how many hours it's been used, so I've added a metric to track its operating hours. That brings us down to the task section, and it's time to see the schedule builder in action. I've created a sample maintenance schedule that we'll be entering here that uses a lot of the same structures you'll see for marine equipment. Let's create a task, and you can see just how easy this process is. Add task button, and that brings us to our template page. Looking at the maintenance schedule, you can see the tasks are done at various scheduled times. The very first one we're going to look at is the general inspection, which is listed as being done every day. That is a task that repeats based on time. So we're going to go ahead and choose this template. To start off, we will enter in the task name. A general inspection is required. And there are no other tasks that are done at the same time. It does not require an authorized workshop, so we can come down to the schedule. After a period of time, we can adjust down and say it's due every single day. You can see the other periods you can choose from are weeks, months, years. In this case, days. There is no initial schedule, so we can come down and hit save. Making quick progress already. The next task we're going to be looking at, you might notice it's a little interesting. There's a couple dots in this row. The change oil and filters is supposed to be done after every 50 hours, so that's a metric-based task. And then once that's completed, it's supposed to be done every year or every 400 hours. We have the ability to schedule this as well. I'm going to go ahead and add one more task. Now, the main time this task is supposed to be done is the every year or every 400 hours. The after 50 hours, that's a one-time task. So the main task repeats by time or metric value. Time being the 1 year, metric value being the 400 hours. So go ahead and select this template for this one. We're going to go ahead and call this change oil and filter. And now we can use this simultaneous task function. Toggle this over, and you notice the change fuel filters is the exact same schedule as the change oil and filter. So we can actually type that in down here, change fuel filters. And for as many different tasks as share the exact same maintenance schedule, you can continue adding them down and over and over and over. So this is really powerful. It's going to save you a lot of time if there are multiple tasks that have the same schedule. In this case, we only have two, so I'll delete that third option. Again, we do not require an authorized workshop for doing this task, and I can come down to the scheduling portion. In this instance, the main schedule, like I said, is every year or every 400 hours. So the period of time is going to be the every year. I can adjust that down, and then the on metric change will be the 400 hours. Now we want it to be when the metric hour or the metric increases by 400 hours. So we'll type that in. And now we come down to the initial schedule. This task is supposed to be done once the piece of equipment has been used for 50 hours. So that's a metric-based time. We can go ahead and say this is scheduled on a metric threshold. Choose our operating hours metric again. And we say that this task, initial task, will be scheduled when the operating hours goes above 50 hours. Help if I type it correctly. There we go. We can come down, save. If we scroll back down to tasks, we'll see that we've created two entries at one time. So we have our change fuel filters and we have our change oil and filter already done. Very, very quick. Now the next task we have to look at is the change or the check V-belt tension. That is scheduled to be every year or every 400 hours, but it does not have that initial task. So you can go through and do the exact same, create the schedule if you would like, but I have a little bit of a trick for you. You come to the drop down on this change oil filter that we've change oil and filter task that we just created. You can come to copy. That's going to create the exact same schedule, including the initial scheduling of the task. But for starting off, we're going to go ahead and just change the name. So this one will say check V-belt tension. There are no other tasks that are scheduled at the same time. It's already using the previous schedule, so it's scheduled for every year or when the operating hours increase by 400 hours. And we do not need the initial schedule. So I can toggle that off and it deletes it. Now we hit save and we already have the check V-belt tension added. It's, like I said, we've really worked hard on this to make it as quick as possible to be able to input all of these tasks. So we're making really good progress. The next task that we're going to be scheduling is to tighten the mounting bolts. So if you notice, this is a task that is scheduled only one time after the first 50 hours the equipment's been used. So again, we've got a template for that. Come down and select this one-time task. Now it is done once based on the metric value after the 50 hours has passed. Start to notice some of the same terminology gets used over and over again. So I can say once by metric value, and I'm just going to go ahead and type in tighten mounting bolts. I'm going to leave that once in there just to designate that this only has to be done one time. Now we're going to go ahead and do the schedule based on a metric operating hours, and it happens when it goes above 50 hours. Come down, hit save. One task remaining. Go ahead and add one more task. And this one, the inspect bearing, happens every 5,000 hours. So there's no time component in there. It doesn't matter based on years. It's strictly based on how many operating hours the piece of equipment has. So we'll use the repeating by metric value template. Come on in here, say inspect bearing. No other simultaneous tasks, but you'll notice this task does have a note with it that says it must be performed by a qualified Marine Service Center. If you notice that a piece of equipment has this sort of note in it, you can now toggle the Authorized Workshop button, and we'll tell everyone that it is recommended by the manufacturer that this task be done by an authorized workshop, service center, lots of different terms for the same thing. But again, this is a metric-based task, so it'll be done based on operating hours once it increases by 5,000. Now we can hit save. Once you're done adding all your tasks, you would come down to the bottom of the page and select Finalize Schedule. That would let you continue on with the add equipment flow, but that's not the subject of this tutorial video, so we'll wrap up here. I hope you have a better understanding of how to use our Schedule Builder tool and can see just how easy it is to create your own maintenance schedule, your own tasks, or even customize tasks to fit your needs. Thanks for watching.